What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Clan of the Dragon. My Dragon Clan members and I are saddling up. We are getting ready for the ultimate journey to the sky to come in the coming months. This is the 3-month candle. 3-month time period. I just wanted to bring this up because I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to show you guys something that I find interesting. And there's not a whole lot of data on this. I find the 3-month candle and higher term time frames to be more beneficial on things that are like decades old or longer, you know, like, and crypto just isn't decades old yet. I guess, yeah, we're not even multiple decades right now. So it's not really, in my opinion, too much to go off of. But to be fair, with what we do have to go off of, any candle that we get that's like sizable like this, right? This one was 446. This one here was 136. These ones were a little smaller. They're around 50, 58%, you know, whatever. This one, however, from like bottom to top was like a 211% one, but it came all the way down. What I'm trying to get to is anytime that we get a sizable one, here's 145%, 136%. Anytime we've had a sizable 3-month candle to the upside, wherever it's been on this chart, which at the moment is only 1, 2, 3, and if you want to count this one, you can, but we're not going to count it, but maybe 3, 4, whatever. We have had another 3 months of red, you know, to follow that. 3 months of red, 3 months of red, actually 6 months of red. That's a half year, right? And this one here at the top, I mean, arguable after these 2-3 months, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2.5 years of downside. And I don't think that this means that we're going to go down for a straight 2 months. We have 2 months and 4 days left in this current 3-month candle. I don't think this means that we're going to go down for 3 months. We're not just going to see some kind of dramatic move down, you know. This one we did. This one kind of, but it didn't eat up the whole candle, right? If anything, that was a, let's see, from bottom to top, that was a just below 382 retracement. We could see something like that, right? A little bit above the 0.5. That's actually something I've been calling for whenever it comes to this one. But we haven't yet had a 3-month candle this magnificent that has not seen some sort of repercussions afterward. Bitcoin Cash, as I say in a lot of my videos, is anything but stable. It is a very volatile thing. The most stable it was in here, and even throughout that stability, right? You were down, and then you had a month where you went up 70%. And then you proceeded to go down, and then you went up, and then you went down, and then you closed this month. Look at how, you know, like this just very volatile this month was here, and then you came down and closed. You had like a further bearish, like a lower close here, and then you just bullishly engulfed, and then down. And then even though you were going down this whole time, you had you know, volatile month here, big wick to the upside. It's anything but stable, and I'm just trying to deliver this message that I have delivered in a few videos. Because, you know, it's something that I think is to be expected. It's not something that's coming out of far left field. We should not be shocked whenever we are met with volatility with Bitcoin Cash. It's literally in its nature, you know, in my opinion. And even whenever it looks like it's moving sideways, it still is volatile. So looking at this, you know, on the weekly now, if the week were to close at the we've got 3 days, 21 hours left, about 4 days left. If the week was to close at the current price or lower, you know, even if it closed a little bit higher than here, but really if it closed red is what we'd want to see. We would probably get out of this overbought zone. If we get out of the overbought zone, Bitcoin Cash has only had a few bouts of that in its history, right? Let's see. Getting up here, we can go back, right? You were overbought here. Whenever you came out of it, what did we do back then? Let's see. I've done this in a video prior to this, but I'm just going over it again because it's been a second and I got some new subscribers recently, so just to make you guys aware. So here we went overbought, got out of the overbought zone, we had a 63% drop. Here we were overbought, we got out of the overbought zone, that was a 29% drop, but I wouldn't so much call this getting into the overbought zone as more of a rejection. It's kind of like a fake move into it, right? I would, you know, like this was the whole move down, then we came back up into the overbought zone more noticeably. And we moved up, and then we moved down, and I guess like our immediate low would have been an 82% drop there, you know, coming out of the overbought zone. Here we were overbought as well, and from the top there to where we bottomed, I mean, arguable, it could be a 67% drop, or the immediate drop at least was a 50% drop. Here we were overbought, and then from there we went down. We had a 73% drop. We did not get overbought here. We did get overbought here, and I can tell you all these, this drop here, and this drop here, I've measured it a bunch of times. That's a 40% drop, that's a 40% drop, 43 actually, 44, and then 43 again. And then this one is like a 70% drop, all coming out of the overbought zone, right? So here we are now on our like 8th or 9th iteration of potentially, we haven't done it yet, there's, again, this is why I started by saying there's almost 4 days left in this week. So right now we're only down 1.73%. Can Bitcoin Cash move up in 4 days 2% or more? It can do that in 2 minutes, man. It doesn't need a whole lot of time to do that. It could definitely move up and stay in the overbought zone. And counter to what I'm saying, if we were to close this week green, if we were to promote, instead of closing out of the overbought zone, we were to promote some kind of look where it was bouncing off the overbought zone, this would imply, to me, that this down move is done. Which I'm sure a lot of you are wanting to hear that, or have been like, you know, maybe this was like fire to your ears for the last like couple minutes here, but you know, this down move could be done, and it wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't take much. You know, in 4 days, if you can close this week with a look like this, bouncing off of the overbought zone like this, I would feel the pressure to buy. I definitely would. I would forego my drop of an idea here. But you know, there's some other things that we'd want to tie in with that on shorter term time frames. But to be fair, on the weekly, that would be some big shit going on for sure. But we don't have that. You know, at the moment we don't have that, and at the moment we don't have a breakout of it yet. I was just going over what would happen or what has happened in the past. Anytime that we have gone into the overbought zone, found a high, and then broken out of it. So the smallest drop I think that I saw was what was it? Do I still have it, or did I delete them all? I deleted them all, so that's okay. I think the smallest drop was like 43% actually. So if we were to drop 43% from the top, right, because that's where it was, top from the overbought zone, 43% would bring us down to, come on now, it was like, let's say 43, it was like 43 and a half. That would be around 186, which I've been saying for a few weeks now, that we're likely going to go anywhere between 185 to 135, kind of in that range. I generally do expect that we go below 180, but you know, a 43% drop, that's the minimum drop we've seen in these kind of conditions. Could we go lower than this? Absolutely. Could we go not as low as that? Could we do a 29% drop, 29.75% drop? Absolutely we could. It very well could be, and it wouldn't take much, man. Close this week green, bounce off this overbought zone. I will buy personally, man. I will get on the Green Dragon train right then and there, seriously. And if it goes down from there, I'll have my stop losses set. I can take a little licking, you know, if I'm wrong, but I don't know, man. That'd be a pretty strong sign. Really wouldn't take much. We're only down 1.5% at the moment. But let's look into the more immediate term time frames here. So what we've got right now is an interesting start to the day. Definitely an interesting start to the day. We're up 1.44% as it's, you know, as it stands. Looking at this fib here, the same old fib we've been using from bottom to top, we are actually above the 236 right now. Now, this does not mean that we've broken it. Okay, we've broken it to the downside. We closed a day below it. We even came up and closed a day right at it after wicking above it. Could we, in the next 20 hours and 40 minutes, turn around? We're only up 1.4%. Could we turn around in the next 20 hours to the downside? You know, all it would take is 1.4% to the downside. Yes, we could. And if we did that, that would, in my opinion, be just kind of further admission that we are going lower. We found support on this 236. We battled it. We had some fake outs. And if we were to do a double test of it like this and reject it both days back to back, I would think that we would see some more immediate price action below these little lows. At the moment, it does look kind of like a double bottom, and I called for this yesterday in my video that I think that this is going to be like a fake out. I think that right now there's probably people who are getting bullish on this, and it's kind of like a bull trap to a certain degree. I could be wrong on that. You know, it wouldn't take much to prove me wrong on that either. What we'd like to see to prove me wrong would be, I think the first step would be closing above this 236, close above 243.18. Or what would be the more convincing thing, in my opinion, would be close above this high here. Close above 249.5. If you can close above that, you know, this would very much look like a double bottom and probably negate the idea of a bull trap. But we would still have further resistance to go at that point. But that would be, let's see, if we were to draw a line here. Drawing a line. Yeah, something like that. I just spitballed it, but yeah, right to 272. Maybe we go to the 270s. We're still not out of the danger zone yet, but if we can, if we can close above this, that would be good for about another 10% move to the upside, which from here again would be a grand total of like 11%. So not too much, right? Bitcoin Cash has done bigger moves than that in a lot less time, but that would be, again, closing above this 236, closing above this white line would be the first two steps to getting back up to here. And then if you want to very much validate that this is the low, close the weekly green like that so the RSI bounces off the overbought zone and get above this descending line as well. And I really don't think if you were to break above these lines that you'd have any trouble doing that. Let's see if there's any fibs that line up with that at the moment. Yeah, nothing. So yeah, you wouldn't really have too much stopping you. Maybe you break above it, you come back down, find support on the 382, and then go up from there. That's possible. I do not expect that to happen. I'm just laying it out in case it does happen, right? But my overall expectation, I've been very transparent, is that I do think we're going to go to the downside. And some people have been making comments on that it is taking longer than normal. We've actually, truth to that, man, very, very truth to that. We have never seen a pump like this where we didn't have a move that gave it back, a retracement, a sizable retracement. And I say sizable. For Bitcoin Cash, it's just normal. But we haven't seen that in this many weeks, right? It normally happens, right, a week after, and then the 3 weeks after, right, or 2 weeks after. You can go back and see, like, okay, yes, this one took 5 weeks, but by the second week, from top to bottom, okay, maybe by the third week, we were down 40%, right? Where right now, we're on our 1, 2, 3, fourth week, and we've only dropped the same as we did here in 2 weeks. And then here, right, the only other time actually that we had a sizable move up that we took a long time to move down, this was about 35%, still a little bit further down than what we got now. We continued to go higher, and then inevitably went lower. We actually formed some daily bearish divergence, I believe, if we go all the way back there. Let's see. Yeah, we had some daily bearish divergence, some very extreme bearish divergence actually, to show that right there. Yeah, like that's not a good look, but we might not, just because that happened this previous time doesn't mean that it has to happen this time. We could go up and continue to go up. And in fact, in my opinion, if we were to bottom here, if we were to go up, I would expect we'd have a very strong move, a very, very strong move indeed. But at the moment, let's dissect this thing at a finer level. Let's get into the more immediate term time frame so we can see what we're expecting for today. Oh, we're on Chainlink. Let's look at it right here. Okay, so looking at this bad boy, all we've got at the moment is lower highs, a kind of flat base at the moment. It does look like a double bottom. And let's see, to a certain degree, we actually have hidden bearish divergence. And I say to a certain degree because, this high here, it's just barely below this high here. This high here is just barely below that high there. But you're sizably lower than these highs over here, in comparison. I wouldn't say too sizable, right? From the top close here to where we are now, it's only 2%. But again, from here, from this close to this one, that's like, what is that? Oh, is that more? Is that actually greater? Maybe I'll eat my words on that. Let's see. Okay, so that's actually 3.8%. This is a bigger difference. It's actually bigger than that even. It's a 4% drop. I don't know. It's not technically hidden bearish divergence at the moment, but if we go too much higher, we close a little bit higher on a 4-hour basis, it would. And just being around this area that we rejected before, not just here, but over here, and all we're doing is promoting lower highs, that doesn't bode well normally. So I'm not expecting too much from this. I wouldn't be surprised actually if today was a red day, if it closed red. I would be surprised if it closed green this high. It could close a little bit green, but I'd be very surprised if we had a day that was this significant, mainly because I don't expect that we're going to break above this 236 that we've just broken down through right here. I wouldn't expect that we close above 243.18, but it's possible. It's possible. Let's look at the 1 hour and we'll wrap this bad boy up. Let's see. So yeah, on the 1 hour, didn't look at this yet, but we're looking at it now. We've got clear bearish divergence. You have a high here where we've previously tipped before actually. Let's see if we have any more that have done that. Kind of in this area. This one went a little bit higher over there, right? But it's a common area to find resistance in the RSI. And let's just go back and see what price did each of those times, right? So here you were at your top, you started to move down. You took a second to move down, but this was your topping area. Here, right, close enough, you were at your top and you moved down. Okay. Here, you were a little bit higher actually, but still your top, you moved down, meandered a little bit, but inevitably you actually had a bigger drop. Here, when you're in the same area on the 1 hour, right, you were at your top. Oh wait, no, yes you were. You're at your top. Technically you did go a little bit higher, but you were in your top area still. And then here you were a little bit above, you're actually a lot above this range, but again, at the top of your move and you went down. So are we potentially, you know, with the fact that we've found this, we've climbed up a little bit, and we have bearish divergence forming. Could this be a topping range? I think so. I really do think so. It would not surprise me if by the end of today we had a red day. I know that we're already up a measly 1.24%. It just keeps dropping as I'm talking about it, but it's dropping barely. You know, I'm not getting too excited over it now. What I'm more excited about is this bearish divergence. It's clear bearish divergence. Yes, we have a nice little up run, right? A little up move. I don't know. It's like this. You've got your higher lows and your higher highs. The second we break out of this to the downside, I think beyond the fact that we have bearish divergence, beyond the fact that the RSI is topping off at a normal area where the price likes to have a topping range, whenever we break out of this little ascending formation we have to the downside, it will likely be the significant, like the official seal that says we're done moving up, we are going to move down now. And again, the bearish divergence itself should speak to that on its own. We are above the purple line. We are barely actually. Oh no, we're below the 50. So, and this is, by the way, an area that we found resistance before on the long-term RSI as well. But if you guys follow the channel, you know that I like to use this 123 simple moving average along with the 123 RSI. If you're below the 50 on the 123 RSI and you're above the purple line, that is generally a good time to sell. If you are above the 50 on the long-term RSI but below the purple line, it's normally a good time to buy. And look, you know, here you were barely above the 50, you're battling it, but you had bearish divergence here too. It should have been a signal that this was a time to sell. Here you were below the 50, above the purple line, great time. Like literally, just look at how perfect it is, right? Below the 50, above the purple line, best time to sell out of this whole little sideways range. And it's not much, but technically yes, best time to sell. Best time to sell right here, you know, below the 50 again, above the purple line right there. And then here, you know, you got below the purple line. If you were to buy down here, you were above the 50. It would have been a good buy for, you know, a very short move up. But seeing this kind of turbulence around this area, you didn't get a bounce, right? You didn't, just like you got a rejection over here, right? Or a rejection right here. That's good that you're showing resistance. But you got this turbulence that should have been like, and you were very weak on the short-term RSI. You know, this standalone, this kind of idea with the long-term RSI and the 123 M8, it's not perfect. It's not something that I hold dearly, that I look for, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got it. It's over, or it's on. You know, it's not like that for me. It's more like okay, this is something that agrees with the overall things that I'm seeing so far. You know, and it doesn't always have to agree. In fact, I think on the 4 hour, right, we're above the 50, but we're well below the purple line. That would imply that it's a good time to buy, right? But there are exceptions to this rule, and you kind of just have to get more familiar with it to kind of identify when these exceptions happen. That's like the best I can really say for it. And on the 4 hour, man, we broke below it here, right? We didn't find it as support at all. We did come up and test it as resistance, confirmed it, and rejected. Had a bearish engulfing candle afterwards. This should have been a sign and showing weakness in the short-term RSI that we were in fact going to go lower. You know what I mean? So, and look at the short-term RSI in itself right now. Anytime we're above the 50, which we are right now, it's been short-lived. In comparison to this whole kind of neutral range that we're in, right? Any time spent above this line, just look at how much more we've been below it than above it. The bears are definitely in control, in my opinion. This is a shorter-term time frame, so seeing more volatility implied on this is normal. It's totally fine. But I very much, guys, just all that to say, I'm not worried about this at all. I know some people are getting excited about the little move up that we've had, this measly little from top to, or bottom to top, little 6% move on an asset that is anything but stable. It is very volatile, so I'm really not too worried about this at all. If the day closes and we are above, I think it was 243.18, right? I've looked at it enough to know that. 243.18. If we can close above $243.18, that'll be the first step in me thinking something else might be going on here. The next step would be closing above this line here, because not only is it a daily high close, but it's also where we wicked down here. So closing above that level would be very significant indeed. And, you know, it might at that point in time convince me to buy, because if we did that, you know, we're already about halfway through the week. This weekly RSI would really start to look good. Where right now it doesn't look good. Right now it actually looks like we're about to get more of what we've seen every other time in Bitcoin Cash's existence, which is a minimum of a 43% drop, which would take us, as I measured earlier, to about 186. But I do think we're going lower than that. I don't think that it stops there. You know, going from this low here to this high, I'm going to just go over it one more time. I think that, you know, if we were to go to a minimum of 186, I'm going to say 185. Whatever, 186.50, sure. 186.50. I think that we have a solid chance of going to the 618 or a little bit below it. It's not uncommon to hit that 6.9 level. So I would say anywhere from about 185 to 135 is still at play here. And yeah, I'm going to keep you guys updated, you know, keep you posted on this. We did reject this purple line too. That's kind of a common thing to do. Yeah, we don't really have any other rejections. We found support on it before, like a couple times, but kind of a rejection area of this. Last time we had a move like this. I don't expect that now. I very much do not expect that we're going to go below these lows here, but I do think that we're going to have a normal retracement for Bitcoin Cash. And again, guys, a normal retracement for Bitcoin Cash is anywhere between these white lines here. It really, really is. I'm not making that up. You can go through, if you know how to use a fib, take your little fib tool, your handy dandy fib tool, measure from any low to any high, and you can see that that is a normal range to do. With the one exception of this move right here, from bottom to top, we went just above the 382. And to be fair, of all the moves Bitcoin Cash has, I think that this is the most comparable to what we're seeing now. Senior scientist, you pointed that out. I pointed it out in a few of my videos too, but I mean, but credit to you, my man, because it definitely is. It definitely is very similar. There's no denying that. It even topped off in a similar area, but I do think we're going to promote different results. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sticking with that until proven otherwise. So yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up. Sorry it's a little bit long and repetitive, but I've got a lot of new subscribers here that might not be aware of the game plan that I've got. So this is my game plan. This is not your game plan. You base your game plan off of your own decisions. You guys watch this so that, you know, hopefully you learn a little bit of TA, learn how I do things, right? It's not a crystal ball foo-foo. I'm telling you what to do, right? I'm more just kind of telling you what I'm going to do, what I'm expecting. If you want to base your decisions off of that, that's on you. That's not on me. I actually don't recommend that, man. You really should. If you're basing your decisions off of somebody else's, I don't know. Some people copy trade and they do well with that. You know, you find a trader that does well, and if you copy trade off of them, you do well. Some people do not have success in that. You know, it all depends on your style. If I had to make a recommendation, if your style for this coin is to buy for the long term, DCA in this thing. Every drop that we get, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, buy more. Because if you're buying for the long term, price at 244, it could drop 50% from here, and 244 is still a good buy. If we were to go up to $500, it's still a good buy. So I mean, we are in very truly fortunate times to buy for the long term. And even saying that, you know, like I know that holding for the long term would be a good time to buy. It's just not my style normally to buy a coin that I do personally expect to drop at least from here. What is it? At least about 25, 26%, 23%, something like that. You know, that's not in me. I would at least want to see how we act with the 382, which is around $200, and we're nowhere near that right now. So we'll see. We'll keep you up to date on this thing and yada yada yada. Yeah. So if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.